Hey math fans, we're on section 2.2.1. Let's get started. Graph the solution to the following inequality. Y is less than or equal to negative 3x plus 7. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the equation you're going to graph is in slope-intercept form. I'm noticing this is already in slope-intercept form, so I don't need to do any work, but let's say it was in standard form or some other form, we'd have to change it. The next thing you want to do is make a table. I'm going to use the values for x, 0, 1, and 2. I'm noticing as x is getting larger, the y values are getting smaller, so this function is decreasing. We'll talk more about that in the coming sections. The next thing you want to look at is whether or not this says less than, or is it less than or equal to. If it is just less than, that means it's not going to include these points, and therefore it's going to be a dotted or a dashed line. However, this one says that it's less than or equal to, so it could include these points. So this should be a solid line. Sometimes when I'm doing a lot of these problems, I will write a little note to myself that less than or greater than without the equal to symbol is a dotted or dashed line. The final step is to test a point. This is an inequality, so there's going to be more than one answer, more than one solution to this graph. So the easiest point to test to figure out which side of the graph we will be shading to represent all of those solutions, the easiest point to test is 0, 0. Notice that 0, 0 is a little bit to the left of this graph. If 0 is really a solution, I can substitute 0 in for x, 0 in for y, and it should make sense. If it does not make sense, if it does not make it a truthful statement, then we will be shading the other side. So we're on the left or below the line here. If it's a truthful statement, then that's the side that we're going to shade. But if it doesn't work out to be true, we're going to shade the other side. As you can see, 0 is less than 7. So the side that 0, 0 is on is with the rest of the other solutions to this equation. So not only is this a solution, all the points that are below the line or on this side are going to be solutions. Therefore, this entire side of the graph will get shaded. And checking our answers, we can see that we were correct. Again, notice it's a solid line. Some of them will be dashed depending on this symbol right here. A company that manufactures MP3 players needs to hire more workers to keep up with an increase in orders. Some workers will be assembling the players. Others will be packaging them. The company can hire no more than 15 new employees. Write and graph an inequality that represents the number of new workers who can be hired. There are two different variables, so we're going to use x and we'll use y. X will stand for the number of workers who assemble, and then the y will stand for the number of workers who package. And simply, the equation is going to be x plus y. Now, it says you cannot hire any more than 15, but you could hire exactly 15, so it's okay to be equal to 15, but it needs to be less than or equal to 15 because 16 would be bad, 17, anything above 15 would be bad. So that's how you get this particular equation. In order to graph it, you need to put it into slope-intercept form. Here it is in slope-intercept form, and remember, if you happen to divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, that will change less than to greater than and vice versa. So be careful of that. That didn't happen in this particular problem. Using Desmos and making a table, I can get a graph pretty simply as well. But remember, you're going to need to be able to graph these by hand. So here are the points, 0, 15, 1, 14. Again, a decreasing function. This is the line y equals negative x plus 15. Now, this isn't the inequality we were dealing with, but I do want to show you that the minute I change this to a less than, it changes to a dashed line. And notice how all the points are being shaded below it. Again, because if I substitute in 0 for x and 0 for y, 0 is less than 15, so I'm going to be shading below it again. Now, this is still incorrect because the problem said less than or equal to. Notice now with less than or equal to, it changed to a solid line. And that's going to do it for this section. We'll see you in class.